How are you doing? Good morning from this side of the world, from Paraguay. I'm LynetteFunk, and I want to share a topic with you today, which I consider essential. It's about balance. Everyone desires a balanced life, a good life, a life that you can live your full potential, a life filled with love and life. Am I right? Or would you decide not to have a balanced life, not to have success? Of course not. Everyone wants to live this beautiful life, and I think we were made to have such a good life. We are worthy to have a beautiful and balanced life. But like all good things in life, these things don't grow on trees. They don't fall into our laps. No, we have to do the steps. We have to work for it. And therefore, I want to encourage you today, first of all, realize what it takes to have a balanced life. Realize, be aware of what can bring you out of balance. Sometimes it's actually really simple to have a diagnosis, what brings you out of balance. But there are also aspects in our lives that really throw us off balance, which we probably can't prepare well enough in order to bring our life into a very shaky being. And so therefore we want to, first of all, talk about the balance in general and what it means and how I would like to explain it to you. Let me share my screen with you so that I can explain it to you a little better. So here it says that the balanced lifestyle is key to overall well-being and success. No balance, no well-being, no success. That's it. So living a balanced life really includes all areas of our life. Therefore, I want to encourage you to think about what are the things that could throw you off balance. Have you ever driven a car that had a flat tire? Well, it happened to our kids once, and it was very funny. So we had this old car, which we thought was good enough for children to learn to drive in the city. And then there came this evening, we received a call, and then one of her children said, something is really weird with this car. It kind of humps and bumps and makes funny noises. And then, of course, all the questions, did you check this? Because it was an old car, they had to regularly check it on water, in oil, and those kind of things. Yes, 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 we have checked everything, but it keeps doing this funny behavior. Then we said, yeah, go to the next gas station, and then we will come and take a look at the car and see what's wrong. So that's what they did. And then came the next call, and they said, the car has a flat tire. So actually, it was a quite simple diagnosis, but it felt so off. Driving with a car that has a flat tire can really cause great problems to your car. It can bring you off balance, throw you out off the road. It can even lead to an accident, and the car itself breaks down. It could if you don't stop and check it and change the tire and fix it, right? I don't know how it is in the countries you live in, but in my country, we very often see old cars, that have no maintenance. You can see it, the way they drive. They are really off balance, you could say. And it's easy to say in the near future that car will land next to the road because something will break. So we see that with cars. How about our lives? Do we realize when we have a flat tire, when we are off balance? So very often it's a lack or neglect of maintenance. And one of the things is lack of love, because we don't take good care of ourselves and our needs in the ones around us if we lack love. If we don't love ourselves, we can't love our neighbors or people close to us, and we can't love God. Everything is connected, everything is a system. And if one of these aspects is out of balance, it affects our whole life. And of course, there are life's turbulences, storms of life. We couldn't plan in advance, they just happen. For example, sickness, or a loved one dies, or maybe literally a tornado comes and hits our house and all our belongings are gone, or a fire. Things like that are really traumatic experiences. But that's not my first focus. My first focus is the things we can control, we are responsible to control. We are responsible to not neglect the maintenance of our car. So if people say they have a problem, for example, if I ask this question, if I could, I would, meaning the dreams we have, then they give reasons for not living their dream, because it's either a financial problem or time problem, or yeah, mostly kind of like that. But actually, I'm telling you now, you don't have a money problem. You have a you problem. That root of your problem or problems, most of the time, has a deeper root. So I thought this example of Jesus speaking to the fig tree, which we can read in Matthew 21, I think it's exactly addressing this you problem. It's this time just before the Passover, the festival of Passover, which we call Easter. And it's just a week before. It was Palm Sunday. Jesus triumphantly walked or rode into Jerusalem. Then the next step he does, and that's on Monday, he goes to the temple and sees all that thing going on in that temple court, and he gets so upset. He sees the problem is a deep-rooted religious problem. They make money instead of helping people. They care more about the religious system than about helping people in their real problems. And so he calls out, you made my temple, he calls it my temple, my house. And I quote, my dwelling place will be known as a house of prayer, but you have made it into a hangout of thieves. That we can read in Matthew 21:13. And that's true for many people, not just, let's say, here, Jerusalem, Israel, that problem. No, let's put ourselves in that spot. We are focused on things that not really help us to keep our balance. And therefore, we have a you problem, whatever it is. If it's, in this case, religious system with greed and the money that's behind everything, or is it something else? So therefore, Jesus, when walking again from the temple from Jerusalem, going to Bethany, on his road, it's now Tuesday, he sees a fig tree. And he goes up to that fig tree, wanting to find the early fruit, which is normal for this time of the year in Israel. He just finds leaves. And again, it's the system he is addressing here, this fake system of making up things, of focusing on the wrong things that actually bring us out of balance. And therefore, he speaks to the tree and says, you will be barren and will never bear fruit again. And instantly the fig tree shriveled. Fig tree is a spiritual symbol for the people of Israel. And it's a spiritual people of picture of everyone that considers himself like a Christian today. So if we just focus on leaves and on appearances and on wearing masks, then it's just an intent to cover up the lack of balance. So and then he teaches us a very important principle. He says in the next verses, listen to the truth. If you do not doubt God's power and speak out of faith's fullness, you can also speak to a tree and it will wither away. Even more than that, you could say to this mountain, be lifted up and be thrown into the sea, and it will be done. Everything you pray for with the fullness of faith, you will receive. That's a promise. So we often focus only on the superficial parts in this story, but this is actually just the topic we're speaking about. It's the you problem. So what does Jesus say? The mountains are a symbol for problems. They are obstacles. They're so big. They seem so big we are not able to overcome. But Jesus says, name your mountain, name your problem. Then speak to your mountain, and then something will start moving. But you have to do the steps, and you have to leave your uncomfortable comfort zone. In the left, in the picture, you see a mountain range in Caesarea Philippi in Israel. And on the top of these mountains, Jesus spoke a very powerful statement. And Peter said, you are the Christ. Then Jesus said, on this rock, I will build my church. So that was the place he was standing on top of it. And down there on the left, you see what's still left of temples, pagan temples. And Jesus saying this statement, on this rock, you are the Christ. That's what our foundation has to be in order to have balance. Build your balance, first of all, on Christ, and then do what he says. Because love is the cornerstone for a truly successful and balanced life. It says in the Old Testament, it says in the New Testament, Jesus repeats it several times. When he was asked what's the most important law we should observe, he says, love. First, love God with all your heart and with all your mind and with all your strength and with all your energy and with all your creativity. And the rest is simple. Then you love your neighbor as you love yourself. So there we have our whole life system in balance if we know this truth and if we build our life on this very fundamental truth. So now, going one step further, now focusing on my life, you see here a lifeline activity, and I will show you in a minute the activity I've done for myself. But I want to teach you this, that you imagine your life like a dot on this chronos lifetime that was created. Time has a beginning and it has an end. The created time, which is called chronos. It started in Garden Eden and it will stop the point when the heavenly Jerusalem will come down with Jesus as king. So in this between time is my life. You see there the dot of my birth date, and there a dot that says 80 years. So that's our capital of time we are given. So the question is, what do I do with this capital of life, of time, of potential that has been given to me? Think about a fig tree. Is my life just producing leaves? Well, then it's out of balance. That's not the purpose of our life. Or do we really focus on the fruit? And therefore, we have to start with what I call you, the identity. And I try to show it to you like this. Just a second, I stop sharing here and show you this. Okay, this is the lifeline activity I want you to do as well. You can see there, this blue line represents the eternal time, which has no end and which has no beginning. But then there is this red line, which is the chronos, the created time. And on this created lifeline or timeline, there is my little tiny life. And God wants me to live a good, fulfilled, purposeful, fruitful life, balanced life, successful life, a life that leaves a legacy that impacts others. So where to start? It starts with you. So I encourage you to do on a piece of paper, draw the circle and think about the things that are really important to you. What's your purpose? What's your vision? What do you think is your purpose for being here on earth? What did God have in mind when he created you? I think the dreams in our heart, the desires in our heart, they come from the creator of dreams. And he has given them us as our capital, but he wants us to work with it so that we can produce fruit and that we can produce lots of fruit and not be happy with leaves. So write it down. You don't have time to do it now. Just write this to the circle and add later on what you really feel like your passion, what drives you, what are your strengths, what are your abilities, and also your story. What have you experienced in life? Remember, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. So that you can build all these things that have happened, even the ones that you didn't have in control, so that you have something to give to others. Because only when you process these things that have happened to you, your mess can become a message, can become a legacy, leaves an impact, a lasting impact. And I think that's what everyone desires. Leave a lasting impact, leave a legacy, because one day I'm not here on this earth anymore. And then what will be left of me? So write it down. Who are you? And what do you really want? And What are your values? And where do you want to get when you think about the end of your life? What kind of legacy you want to live? Then do the next step. I show you. This is my lifeline activity. Here is the date of my birth. And then I think of my life like the first years of my life, pretty normal, I would say. You see a little down there and then a little high and again a little deeper down, but in general, not something very bad happened to me. Like I lived a normal life. I was a wanted child. I was loved. I was protected. But yeah, of course, I had my struggles, and those were those down moments in my life, like not feeling worthy, not feeling beautiful, not feeling accepted. So those were those down moments. Then when I got older and I thought about my life, where do I want to get? Well, actually, I didn't think much. But normally we would expect that our life goes like a straight line up, right? But no, it just came this down moment in my life where it really was dark. Everything seemed dark. No future, no light. I just felt depressed. But that became, that was my first, I would say, deepest moment in life. But that became a turning point in my life. That's where I cried out to God, my creator, and I said, give me light, give me beauty. I don't see a way. And I received a clear vision, a vision that I felt in my heart. Go tell women that they are worthy, that they are beautiful in my eyes. And then my way up out of this deep pit started. But of course, then you think it will go on like this. No, then came the next deep, deep, this time even deeper pit. But all these deep moments in my life, really being out of balance, were also again moments of reorientation, of thinking, focusing again on what I really want and what is really important in life. And then again, there started a straight upwards in my life. Growth happened and new messages came and new impact and like new renewed energy. And again, it happened that it got quite deep. And this was, for example, a deep loss in my life when my mother, my dear mother, with only 58 years of age, passed away after fighting cancer for several years. And from, let's say, a strong woman, what was left was just bones and skin, not recognizable anymore. So that really, and that was the moment when I was about to turn 40. And so with all this loss and grief, and then came comments of other people that told me, so now you're about 40, now you have to be very careful. Remember, you have her genes and you will end up like her. You know, that was really bringing me down into a deep moment of being out of balance. And again, that was a turning point in my life where I really thought and prayed there must be a way, a better way. And until I found the way, the better way, in which I'm teaching now. I'm so passionate about what I have found. And now I am so willing to help women all over the world to find their balance, to find their purpose, to find their beauty and restore their health and energy. You are not a victim to your circumstances. You're not a victim to your genes. No, you are a result of your decisions and of the steps you do, and you have to start looking for this better way. So that's what I want to encourage you to do this lifeline activity for yourself and see, looking back, how these moments in life, those really messy moments, actually became a turning point in your life, and that can become your message. That mess becomes your message. So if you are in a situation like that right now, that you feel my life is out of balance, I feel messy, then I would suggest to do this lifeline activity and then do another activity. I have one more for you. So now this is the you on the lifeline, and this is your life today. So around this circle you did, thinking about your values, your story, your identity, your vision, your purpose, draw a bigger circle. Like I did this about 10 centimeters, and then do like six. It's like a piece of cake or a wheel. You could see it as a wheel, and then divide it into six pieces. And then you see there different F's. These six areas of your life represent, first of all, your faith, then your family, then your finances, your fitness, your, did I say friends? And then there is a B, that's balance, or we could say your overall well-being. So that would just take the average of all those things you put here. So faith, family, finances, fitness, friends, and balance. So do this circle, and then from 1 to 10, how do you rate your, right now, in this moment, how do you rate your well-being in the area of faith, or in the area of family, or in the area of finances, or in the area of fitness, and in the area of friends? And then in general, how balanced is your life? So what you can do now is put a dot. Let's say in faith, you say, I feel like I'm on a 6, put a dot there. And then with your family, you are quite happy, but it could be better. Let's say it's a 7. Again, I put here a dot. I don't know if you can see it. And then in the next area, the finances, or you say that's maybe one of your arguments why you say I am not in balance, then there maybe you grade yourself, give yourself a 3. And then we come to the next area of life, let's say friends and or fitness. There, like fitness first, yes. And then you say, okay, actually, I don't feel fit and healthy. I don't eat healthy enough, and I don't feel good in my skin or in my body. Yeah, okay, let's say 4. And then you have this area of friends. Do you have good friends? Friends you can trust? You have good relationship, deep relationship? You say maybe that's really something I'm good at. I love my friends. Then maybe you say that's an 8. So here, an 8. And that leaves us the last, that's the B, the balance. So how balanced do you feel is your life right now? How do you feel? Don't overthink, just out of your guts, let's say, give yourself a number there. And maybe you say, well, so it's kind of average, it's 5. Now the next step is you connect these dots. I will do that. I will connect here the dots and here, and this one, And then this is the result. This is just an imagination how it could turn out. So how round is your wheel of life? Is it balanced? This one isn't. I don't know how yours looks like, but if it looks more or less like this, then I'm telling you, your life is not as happy, not as fulfilled as it could be. So, where would you like to start with? It is possible to find and recover balance. There are steps I, as your coach, can help you with. Let's go through this process. Let's start with the area you feel like most out of balance. No, let's start with the area of you. Let's start with your identity, with your passion, with your dreams, and what you really want. Then from there, the next step is to plan. What could you do to reach that what is actually in your heart? And once you have clear what you actually want to reach in your life, you have your plan, then come the action steps. And this is the process I lead you through as your coach. I'm a trained and licensed life coach. I'm a master trainer coach even, and I'm also an image consultant. So I combine all these areas of life and I have brought it into a coaching program with 3 modules, and I call it Rise with Style because I believe that we want to have not only a balanced life, but a beautiful life. And that's what we are actually created for. So, considering all these areas of life, I encourage you to rise with style, live the life you were meant to have, live it in balance, live it in love. And I, as your coach, can guide you in through this process. So if you have liked this message, if you found it helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you won't miss any of these messages. And if you think that I could help you through this process, because I have received help when I was in those moments, and that helped me to get out of my uncomfortable comfort zone. And so I want to help you to go that beautiful, godly design path for you and not on your own path which you consider right. No, seek God's perfect path designed for you because you have a message, you have a story, and someone in this world needs just what you have to give. So, therefore, like and share, and don't forget if I can help you, let me know. So, till our next message, have a wonderful day.